Hey, Logan, it's been a while. How you doing? Oh, I'm back in the brown suit? Yeah, I'm kind of trying to be like, I guess, the Anthony Hopkins for this stupid retro review. You're not trying to, do something funny about it, right? My season finale just dropped, and, apparently we're having a record-breaking, short, in the previews for it. So, is retro available? You want to hang back a bit and do something really stupid? Like, force him to do a quick review next week? Yeah, how about that? All right, cool. I told you it was gonna be that. It wasn't gonna be that easy. Thank you, Frank. All right. Anyway, hey everyone, what's up? This is the real Nerf Logan in the old Browns, helping Retro because apparently he has a stupid retro review series of the Mission Impossible movies. And make a long story short, I have ties to it because of certain dude Gray Scott. But before we get to that, we have to get to this week's attempt at Retro trying to deactivate the bombs in his rider belts with a stunt that he's going to try to recreate from the series. Ow! What the? And looks like he failed yet again. I told you the knife thing wasn't going to work. We should have done the bikes. Yeah, I know. Just, the shoulder, really? Yeah, dude, the shoulder. Oh, hey, Dad, what's up? What's up? Okay, cool. So, hey, everybody, we're still doing this. Hey, everybody, what's up? This is Retro Reviews. Continuing our retro review series of the Mission Impossible franchise. Going on number 2, what's there to say about the Dude Gray Scott of it all and the, obvious, John Woo of it all? If you've seen, the, reference video we're going to be using for this, retro review series, the Nerdist, timeline video, turns out, there's a cool factoid about directors that have worked on the previous franchise that, they all wanted to come back, in some degree, but never really had the time. More notably, obviously, J.J. Abrams. We'll get to that, next week, for that final, half of the retro reviews. But there's one director that got excluded on the option to come back list, and that is obviously, one John Woo. But before we get to that, I am a genuine fan of this director. I loved his Hong Kong action work, obviously, the hard-boiled of it all, the Killer, even that, unnecessary remake he did, I think, a year or two ago now. Go to the trailers for that, if anything else. But also, as time has caught on the last 25 years, you can tell his directing style of action movies have clearly changed, especially the dual-wielding of it all. Speaking of said dual-wielding, going to the IMDb, for this, movie, because I don't want the Legacy trailer to get our asses. What is there to say about, flowing, Tandy Noon into Sydney and basically being the backdrop of pretty much an erotica action thriller with a viral outbreak kind of stuff. Again, the Nerdist video discussing this movie says it a lot. A little more avant-garde than even I ever could, so take that as you will in the cards. Speaking of said avant-gardeness, how was Tom this time around as Ethan Hunt? Well, first of all, we have to talk about, well, not the evolution of the hair, but evolution of the mannerisms. This is where I'm going to have to unfortunately talk about his Scientology next week with Mission Impossible 3. That was kind of almost the marketing hiccups that he had going into that movie, and more on that, again, next time. But still, closeted about that aside, the hair is all over the mess, all over the place, but I don't want to say L'Oreal jokes back in the day, or any other makeup company at the time. I mean, I was going to say Tresemme, but that's just me, corporate-wise, and, being, that sex. Yeah, more or less. So, why am I here? Anthony Hopkins, that's mainly why. If I could get the... nope, not gonna get the pick of him in time. To make a long story short, he showed up here doing one of the most quotable thing about this movie. Well, it's not improbable, or, yeah, it's not, Mission Hard. It's called Mission Impossible for a reason. And, speaking of, he never got rogue, never became a villain later on in the franchise. He just up and bounced in, Sir Hopkins' case. Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of where we're at. Now, the main reason why I wanted to bring up Dude Gray Scott here, the actual villain, who was basically the MCU equivalent, speaking of MCU ties here, of basically trying to be the evil twin of Cruise's Ethan Hunt, is that he was a former agent that actually went rogue, not Ethan in this one. I think it's one of the only movies he actually played it by the book as far as IMF protocols go for this mission. So again, that's probably why this movie sucks. Unfortunately, calling what it is a bad movie is gonna not work when you get to the 125 million opening and that it made, if I remember correctly, if I could look at the box office, which, by the way, we're going to be doing for the next 2 movies, if I ever get back to Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, because this movie franchise franchise steadily made a assload of money as time goes on, and especially in 2's case, I think this was like the third or fourth opening highest grossing 2000s movie, of course, limited to not, of course, your movie all the way back then. Go to my retro review for X-Men. Yeah, long story short there. And speaking of that, yeah, the Sean Ambrose, yeah, Dude Gray Scott of it all, to put it bluntly, he was almost me. Oh, wow, that's very interesting. Frank, you got the wire work set up? Yep, just about. Wait, what do you mean wire work? Ah! Not again, guys. Come on. Shinji, can you... Yeah, on it, Sensei. And you misnamed me again? It's just one letter. I know, Denji. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, while I'm unhooking Sensei over here, does anyone want to talk about that Billy Baird, if he's basically trying to be a Benji before next week? Not it. Ah, damn it. Why do I gotta be Benji? Yeah, long story short, Billy Baird is, I think, a known Australian actor, just like Dude Gray Scott, never came back, and may or may not have had, weird, ties to it. We're trying to find the cast list, sorry, it's been a minute. So yeah, since we're here and I got John the budget, Richard wasn't wrong, it is at a whopping 125, which is basically like 200 mil back in, like, I don't know, that kind of metrics, or Scotty metrics, poor. Long story short there. Okay, cool, nobody wants to know about Nightmare Timelines, thank you, and, yeah, box office-wise, it made 500 plus mil, and, the only, I think, MI movie that steadily declined on budget and box office was, I'm assuming, the last, Reckoning movie, so that's kind of where we're at there. So, figure downs and head tilts on, Denji aside. Now you got the name right. Sorry, dude. Seriously. Alright, Sensei. Let me just go check how to dehook these belts, I guess. Yeah, we're going to try some brute force and hope it's not microdot explosions and other gadgets we're going to have to talk about next week. Speaking of, the tech in MI2 is very dated. It was just a bunch of, like, old style, kind of like handheld camcorders that ended up being digitals. Back in the day. And another figure down. It wouldn't be this franchise if it was this and weird flippy shit that this movie in particular does. Yeah, speaking of said flippy shit, we were trying to replicate, if you want to figure it out real quick. Yeah, sure. So basically there was a shot that Tom wanted to do for real because notoriously with this movie, John was one of the rare directors, other than McQuarrie, that wanted to, like, actually have a safety guy or a stunt guy literally on it. So, baby, you ready? Yeah, pretty much. So, essentially, the eye shot here you see in the third act with Sean and Ethan was supposed to be essentially after the bike collision, hence why Richard got this earlier a few weeks back. And, oh, I figured out, it's been a while. Yeah, you don't really get used to that much after the first one in a while. Yeah, pretty much dead. So, that's kind of where we are. Ultimately, it's a chaotic mess. Summarizing, this is also a chaotic mess. The love story between Tandy Newton's, I really don't know her character's name off the top of my head. I don't think, Naya, I think, in her case with Ethan's is one of those handful of relationships, aside if you're a certain Rebecca Ferguson in the modern movies, don't really get that much wordplay anymore. I'll generally be amazed if she shows up for a cameo in Final Reckoning. But before I leave, I kind of want to talk about the motorcycle stuff. That is basically the third act of third acts. It basically made Corridor Digital's career, I guess, armchairing how basically that worked. And the gunplay is very dated, not gonna lie. It's pretty much how it is with John Woo movies at the time. Speaking of, what is your obsession with Face Off? It's a lot of things. And apparently Tom also had a bigger obsession of Face Off than pretty much all of any other old school super best friends alumni. Hi, Pat, by the way. Yeah, I'm still going to keep talking about Face Off because turns out in Tom's case, he actually liked Woo because of Face Off, and that's what got him the gig, essentially. But if you remember the MTV Movie Awards back in the day, if you were a Ben Stiller fan like I kind of was, you kind of knew that he loved doubling for Tom during the production of this movie and how they kind of clashed with the stunts and stuff like that. Outside of that, it's really up to you. This is the most, like, bargain bin optional sequel you can watch. Like, you could jump straight into 3. pretty easily, honestly, and we'll get into why next week. So, with that all being said, no scores like usual, because like I said, as for new viewers, hi by the way for the 600 plus of you. For retro reviews, we don't really do official scores for old movies because that's kind of how my channel likes to operate. Unless it's recent additions, then we'll talk about it as the franchise overall. Ultimately, aside from the most obvious early 2000s is all hell posters you're going to be seeing for MI2, which by the way, I think I just found my thumbnail art, speaking of. With that aside, yeah, the soundtrack's all over the place. I think it was Metallica that had to do the MI cover and never came back for the rest of this franchise for a very good reason. It was almost in the Hoobastank level of bad if you want to bring the early 2000s of it all, unless you're a DMC fan and have legitimate reasons for that show. By the way, go to my recent review of that a couple weeks back. So until next time, and helping out the newly reunited Defenders, yeah, we're not there yet, essentially, and you're okay with my armored costume, right? Yeah, it's to be like the MCU suit, right? There's nothing really going on, right? You want to tell him? Yeah, I broke up with Electric, oh, dude, come on, seriously? And this suit is giving me mushroom arm and some weird disease. I told you that suit is cursed. I told you that, right? Thank you, Frank. We'll get more into that with my full season review of Daredevil Born Again next week, along with other Toku stuff that I'm pretty sure you're behind on Retro, if I'm looking at the coffers of your channel logistics. And I keep forgetting you're a lawyer. Yeah, go to them and for future content aside from that. And cars coming up to soon-to-be Benji cable over. I swear, I can't believe I couldn't just be the pilot guy. No. Look, it was that or Vin Wings. Okay, I'll take the Benji role. Yeah, go to me here for Retro Stupid Playlist for the short preview for Daredevil Born Again. That was, like he said earlier last week, this was probably the only short he was going to do, and so far so good on that, views-wise. Seeing the future aside, go to the Wolverines over here, talking about the previous video, which was, of course, MI1. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about with Michelle Monaghan next week, just saying that right now. Yeah, and how are you going to do Philip Seymour Hoffman? Pretty easily. I mean, a lot of his stuff is quotable. If that doesn't deactivate the random bells, then I don't know. Anyway, take care, subscribe, and yeah, these bells better get deactivated next week, just saying plot-wise.